Rarely does a professional athlete receive a player exclusive colorway of a sneaker in the industry. It is particularly unusual for such a shoe to be made available to the general public for purchase. Ever since Indiana Fever guard Caitlyn Clark unveiled a unique colorway of the Nike Kobe 5 Protro, in anticipation of a WNBA playoff game, enthusiasts have been eagerly awaiting the potential retail launch of these striking sneakers. Despite conflicting information circulating about the availability of Clark's exclusive colorway, a definitive release date has now been confirmed. The official sneaker Instagram account, ABR Kicks, recently announced that the Nike Kobe 5 Protro Indiana Fever colorway is set to release on Sunday, June the 1st. Although the news is exhilarating, it is uncommon for Nike to debut significant shoes on Sundays. The new release is expected to be exclusively available on the Nike SNKRS app, which typically releases sought-after sneakers from Thursday to Saturday. Additionally, the projected release date of June 1st does not align with any important games on the Fever's schedule, as they are currently in the midst of a 4-day hiatus at that time. Sydney Colson, the newly acquired guard for the Indiana Fever, accurately pointed out that the spotlight on the WNBA's top teams can significantly influence the reputation of the entire league. This is precisely why the discussions surrounding the media coverage of Caitlyn Clark are frequently misdirected. Yes, the Fever will be featured in 41 out of 44 games on national television in the upcoming 2025 WNBA season due to their strong viewership numbers. In the previous season, Clark and the Fever consistently drew in over 1 million viewers per game and showcased some of the highest-rated games in the league's history. It is no surprise that the WNBA and its broadcasting partners are keen on showcasing this popular team as much as possible. However, the issue arises when this situation is perceived negatively by other teams in the league. During a recent segment on ESPN's First Take, Minnesota Lynx standout Nafisa Collier discussed the disparity in national TV coverage between the Indiana Fever and the New York Liberty. Host Molly Karem questioned the fairness of the WNBA, showcasing the Fever frequently on television while giving the defending champions, the Liberty, fewer opportunities with only 32 nationally televised games. To begin, the overarching argument fails to consider the significance of media partners in the selection of broadcasted games, such as ESPN, which experienced its highest viewership of the WNBA season in 2024, largely attributed to Clark and the Fever. Additionally, the assertion diminishes the 32 games allocated to the Liberty as insignificant. The Los Angeles Lakers were at the forefront in the NBA this season, with 39 nationally televised games scheduled. In addition to the Lakers, the Golden State Warriors, Boston Celtics, and New York Knicks were also slated for more nationally televised games than the Liberty and Las Vegas Aces. Although the NBA has a larger pool of games to select from, the amount of coverage allocated to the Liberty and Aces should not be underestimated. The Liberty team was notably featured in the most-watched WNBA Finals game of the century, which was the championship-deciding Game 5 against the Lynx. It stands to reason that many fans who were captivated by the excitement surrounding Clark likely remained engaged to support and appreciate the numerous talented players in the league, including Collier. Considering the subject matter at hand, it would be intriguing to analyze the total hours of coverage dedicated to the WNBA on a high-profile show like First Take leading up to Clark's first season in the league. The identical concept can also be extended to collegiate athletics. In the midst of various scholarly articles dissecting the viewership numbers in the inaugural season without Clark, there appears to be a lack of coherent context. suggesting that Clark's impact on Iowa occurred in isolation. The statistics for the NCAA tournament have decreased compared to the previous year, but they have shown an increase from preceding years. This indicates the ongoing expansion of the sport in line with the rising popularity of Clark. Chiny Ogwumike notably referred to Caitlyn Clark as the Needle during a broadcast where Collier was interviewed. It is noteworthy that the rest of women's basketball has also progressed alongside her. It is high time that discussions regarding Clark and the WNBA incorporate sensible perspectives rather than seeking to generate unnecessary controversy. Caitlyn Clark's rise as a standout player in the WNBA during her debut season garnered significant attention, especially as her talents with the Indiana Fever were widely praised throughout the summer. During this month, Miller made an appearance on the All the Smoke podcast, hosted by Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes, where he addressed individuals who emphasized Clark's race in a derogatory manner. "I will speak frankly because it is necessary," she stated. "I empathize with the young woman, and I feel sympathy for her. I am familiar with the experience of being despised. I understand the feeling of being a Black woman and facing hatred due to my skin color. I cannot fathom the struggle of this young lady. I hesitate to use the word hate, but she is clearly despised. She has a sense of self-assurance that may have contributed to the situation, but it is justified by her accomplishments. I admire this quality in her. Despite the media's predetermined storyline, I was relieved and gratified to see the reality playing out differently. It was delightful to witness the strong camaraderie between her and Angel Reese." Miller praised Clark and Angel Reese for setting aside any preconceived animosity they may have had in order to team up for the 2024 All-Star Game and showcase a strong on-court performance together. "I was unaware of the extent of her talents and her keen ability to view the game in a three-dimensional manner, demonstrating a thoughtful approach," Miller commented. "Her defensive skills exceed my initial expectations, exceeding the credit I had previously given her. Watching her in action and getting to know her better has allowed me to realize the importance of giving these young athletes the freedom to express themselves without constraints." Despite critics failing to acknowledge the significant impact Clark has had on the game in a relatively brief period, Miller expressed his astonishment. Miller expressed his opinion by stating, "I exclaimed, 'You big fools!' indicating a sense of disappointment towards others. He acknowledged the recipient's enthusiasm and dedication, observing that she was investing significant effort in the backyard, possibly even more than the average person. Miller defended the recipient, explaining that one should not criticize her for the circumstances she was born into. Despite the high expectations placed upon her, Miller insinuated that the recipient has lived up to the hype, disproving skeptics who are still anticipating her downfall. Clark's designation as Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year caused controversy within the league. The co-owner of the Washington Mystics, Sheila Johnson, expressed on CNN her belief that the publication should have bestowed the award upon the entire Women's National Basketball Association, WNBA, rather than an individual player. Johnson questioned why the WNBA was not featured on the cover and acknowledged the league's exceptional talent. He expressed concern that singling out one player could lead to division and even accusations of racism within the WNBA, which he strongly disapproved of. In the offseason, the Fever underwent substantial changes, introducing a revamped lineup compared to the previous year. Stephanie White assumed the role of head coach, replacing Christy Sides. Additionally, the team welcomed new additions DeWanna Bonner, Sydney Colson, and Sophie Cunningham to their roster. The upcoming 2025 WNBA season is on the horizon, and the Indiana Fever is emerging as a team of significant interest. This is not only due to the presence of Caitlyn Clark, who is entering her second year following a stellar rookie season, but also because the team has strategically added seasoned players to support her. One such player is Sydney Colson, a two-time champion, who has offered insights on the impressive rise of Caitlyn Clark. Colson described Clark's influence on the league and Indianapolis as extraordinary as she was introduced by the team. He emphasized the significant impact she has had on the local economy, with an influx of visitors from various locations coming to attend games. This phenomenon is seen as quite remarkable and unique. Following that, a journalist brought up the fact that she had been researching the economics of Clark's effect. In response, Colson humorously stated, "Yes, I do my best to stay informed." She expressed admiration for Caitlyn's exceptional talent and predicted a bright future for her at the university. Despite Indiana's widespread attention, the point guard remains unfazed. Colson explained, "I am transitioning from a team that garnered significant media coverage and excitement to one that is currently one of the most talked about in sports." She expressed her enthusiasm for being part of a team that is surrounded by positive energy. The point guard agreed to a one-year contract with the Fever worth $90,000 on February 6th. It is anticipated that she will be a backup to Clark, who played an average of 35.4 minutes per game in her first season. In contrast, Colson, aged 35, only played an average of 8.0 minutes per game for the Aces in the previous season. Colson is just one of several new acquisitions for the Fever's lineup in the upcoming 2025 season. Alongside esteemed players such as three-time champion Natasha Howard and two-time champion DeWanna Bonner, Sophie Cunningham has also officially joined the team. The team roster has been subject to change, along with a significant transition within the Fever's front office. Specifically, Kelly Krauskopf assumed the role of president, Amber Cox was named general manager, and Stephanie White relocated from Connecticut to assume the position of head coach for the team.